Welcome to Hope from the Word. I'm Pastor Mike Swenson. We live in a world that loves to use our great marketing skills to make people discontent. I don't know how much you've noticed that or not. I'm sure you have. You flip on the TV or you listen to a commercial on your podcast or on a radio station, and you hear all kinds of things. That's just what marketing people do. They try to make you feel discontent so you can buy this item, this product, and make yourself feel better. And marketers tend to manipulate people just enough to get them to buy their chicken or to buy their makeup, even their car, because that car is better. You got to have it. You can't live without it. You may have heard slogans like "You deserve it," or you may have heard others that say "You are worth it." And so the question is, if you can't get that item, if you can't have that item, are you still worth it? Do you still deserve it? The message that they're bringing out really isn't right in that sense. They just want you to buy what they're selling. And the problem for many is that they have heard these things, these words and slogans so many times that they don't know how to be content anymore. But maybe you're one of the millions like them. But if you listen to what the Apostle Paul said as he's writing over to the Philippian believers, these Philippian Christians, and he says some words to them there in the town of Philippi. He said in chapter 4, verses 10 to 13, "I rejoice greatly in the Lord that at last you renewed your concern for me." Remember, he was a missionary out there. And he says, "Indeed, you were concerned, but you had no opportunity to show it. I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. And I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want." The things he says here. But then he goes on to say this: "I can do all this through him who gives me strength. And some translations, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." But you have to keep that in that context of what the Apostle Paul is saying. See, these people wanted to help Paul by giving to meet his needs that he had, but he wanted to make sure that they understood something that was very important. He had learned to be content. Contentment is important. We need to learn to be like the Apostle Paul was in our day. And he was plain that there were times in his life that he had everything he needed. But there were also some times he barely scraped by. But he did make it through. And see, marketers today want you to believe that you deserve it. They so that you must have it, right? And it's like you are less if you don't have the greatest new iPhone or the best new type of car or the greatest cookware. There's so many things we could go down the line and talk about. But the problem with that is it's being just simply materialistic. It's allowing the materials to rule our lives, and there is very little contentment in being materialistic. Why? Because we always want more. We never have enough. And there's always room for more, and you have to have more. But Paul said it this way, though: "I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength." We can live our life out with the strength that the Lord gives to us. I believe that there is more power in what Paul is saying here than most people actually consider. Some see this simply as the Lord gives you strength, and he does, but it's more than that. He gives us the power to be content and to live the life that we have, that he's given to us faithfully. We can live out this life in a content manner. We don't have to fret about getting the next thing to make us content. Contentment comes when we are thankful for what God has provided for us. I pray that you're grateful for the things that God has provided for you, and I pray that you learn to be content in the situation you are in today. Be trusting the Lord. Continue to trust Him. It doesn't mean that He won't meet our needs, because He will meet our needs. He is faithful. But we can also learn to be content and knowing He gives us strength. God bless you. May you have a wonderful week.